Well, hey there everybody, how y'all doing? I hope everybody's having a wonderful day or night, and welcome back to my channel. As always, I'm Deluxe. Alright, let's do another freaking Transformer review, because I love some freaking Transformers today, and I love some Blokees. Got this in, really excited for this. So this is Transformers Model Kit Blokees Action Edition Soundwave. Alright, get Laserbeak, Ratbat, Rumble Frenzy, whichever one you'll call them, and Ravage. Great artwork right there. It says Blokees. Looks good. On the side, very nicely done. So basically you're going to build a skeleton and you're going to build over it. This is one of the, these are the bigger ones. They have a Megatron and Optimus Prime. Fortunately, I don't have those. I may order those, and if I really like this one, which I think I probably will, because I love some Blokees, more than likely I'm going to order the Prime and Megatron 2 to go with him. But yeah, very nicely done. You've got some action shots right there, and you got some exclusive accessories, all that good stuff and everything. So very nicely done. All right, on the side, once again, Soundwave, and on the top, Beyond Infinity, The Legend of Cybertron, Action Edition. This is Soundwave. All right, so let's get right to it. As always, hit me up some likes, shares, prayers, and Care Bears. Hit that sub button for me if you don't mind. And, follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. Everything's on the description. I didn't get this from Show Z, but go to Show Z and buy some Transformers and use Deluxe32 at the top. Really helps out the channel. I actually ordered this from Blokees themselves, the company. So definitely go check out their website. They got some really great stuff. So yeah, let's get right to it. And let's build. Now with the Blokees, what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to show you everything it comes with, all the parts and everything. I'm going to build it off camera because it's going to take a while. I've heard it takes a little bit for these bigger ones to build. And once I build him, then we'll talk about him and all that good stuff. So let's get right to it and we'll see what he comes with. All right, real quick, here everything comes with. Okay, so it does come instructions. So he does have a lot of feature, and I think he does talk as well. I think he has like 3 phases or something like that. But it takes LR1130 as far as batteries. I think there are batteries in there, if I can see that correctly. I think there's a battery in there, so that's great. But if you do have to replace the batteries, that's what it takes. It takes LR1130. Everything that's really good. You have instructions. Like I said, these are model kits. Easy to follow. You just, basically just follow the, they'll have numbers and everything and what they go off on the sprues. And you just follow that. And like I said, easy to build. Soundwave, and then all the tapes that you have as well. Laserbeak, all that good stuff. And there you go. That's pretty cool. All right, then you got, like I said, you got several bags of stuff. Like I said, this is going to take a minute. So like I said, I'm just going to show you what it comes with, and then I'm going to build this off, off camera, and then we'll talk about Soundwave. But you get lots of sprues. So yeah, I'm going to get right to it and build this because it's going to take about an hour or two. But there you go. That is everything that Soundwave comes with, and yeah, I'll be right back, and we'll talk about Soundwave and the mini tapes or minions, whatever you want to call them. All right, back for building Soundwave and his tapes, and man, that was a fun build. It's a long one, giggity, but it's a fun build. I had a great time with them and everything. So there you go, Soundwave, Ratbat, Laserbeak, and Ravage, and Rumble Frenzy, whichever you want to say. Basically what you do is you get these sprues, and then you got the H1 right there, then you got numbers, and then you just get your instructions, and it'll show you basically, like H3, 14, and H1, H2, and 5, and everything, and so forth. You just follow the instructions. Like I said, easy, fun build. Like I said, these are going to be a lot longer than the normal Blokees because he is bigger and has lots more parts counts and everything. But there he is. We're going to talk about the tapes real quick, and then we'll get to Soundwave since he is the main attraction. All right, we'll talk about Ravage first, and here he is in all his glory. Looks pretty good. Got the red eyes. Legs are painted silver, so are his little missile launchers and everything. That's a nice articulation. So basically what it is, everything's going to be on ball pegs. So you got a swivel, you got a little down, not much. You do got some up. You can open at the mouth, which is pretty cool. I like that. And you got a little side to side too. So very nicely done with that. Then you got the front legs. You can go out a little bit like that, back and forth. You do have the knee, or I guess elbow bend for this one, for the front ones, which is good, or knee. But very nice. And then the back, you do got a ab crunch, so you got a swivel and up and down, so you can get an ab crunch, so that's very nice. The legs, once again, you go out a little bit like that, back and forth, bend at the knee, and the tail can go up and down too as well. So very nice. But yeah, there you go. There's Ravage. We'll talk about Ratbat. I like Ratbat. He's pretty cool. So got the nice purple with the yellow eyes and everything. The silver for the guns, and you got the little boosters back here, which is nice. You just tab those in, everything. Got some nice sculpt work on the back for that. As far as articulation, you can open up the mouth, as you can see. You can close it or you can open it up. You can look down. That's about it. You got a little wiggle waggle back and forth, and you got a little swivel too. It's on a ball peg. So very nicely done. You got a hinge right here for the wings and a hinge right here. So you can get it up like that. And, whoops, these do tend to pop off a little bit. They're just a little, not really on a ball peg. They just, a little slot and a little slot in there right there. So just be wary of that. The feet do move up and back, up and down too as well. So you can get that. Kind of wish now, with Laserbeak, you have two options. You have one with a post and without a post. I kind of wish they did that with Ratbat so they could have him sitting on Soundwave. You can rest him on the shoulder and everything, but it would have been cool if he had an option to do what Laserbeak does as well. But he doesn't. So there is Ratbat. Move him right there. And we'll talk about Laserbeak as well. There you go. Nice silver paint right there. Looks good. Like I said, he does have two options. I'll bring in, like I said, you'll have to take it apart to rebuild it if you want to, but you have this option, doesn't have the post and everything if you want to have him sitting on Soundwave's arm and stuff and everything. So I'm going to leave it like that with that. With the head, you do have an up and down movement. You do have a ball peg, so you can move up and down, swivel, all the way around, all the stuff you need. The wings do have a little slider right here, so you can move them back and forth. A swivel, a little up and down, or mainly up, not much down, and everything. So very nicely done with that. You got the little booster, little jet pack back there, which is really cool. Which would have given them little blasters right there. That would have been neat. But all right, and there is Laserbeak. Like I said, oh, he does also have this little Soundwave thing, which is really nicely done, nicely painted. Love the blue and silver, everything. Nice little Decepticon symbol. You can, tab it right here if you want to, and you can sit on that if you want. So that's pretty cool. And then we have Rumble Frenzy, whichever one you'll call him, doesn't matter. Well, I guess it matters, but Anyways, silver paint, red paint right there for that. A little white paint, nice little Decepticon symbol. Looks pretty good. Got the little blasters. He can't hold the blasters. I'm sorry. You can take the blasters off if you want, and he is able to hold them. So that's pretty cool. Nice little option. They are painted silver. As far as articulation, not much for the head. Little wiggle waggle, not much, and he can only go about that far because these little side things, which I don't remember him having those. I wonder why he has those. But anyways, but yeah, not much. Little wiggle waggle. Well, not much there, but you do go all the way up right there, all the way back. You got a wiggle waggle right there. 90 degrees for the elbow bend. Well, a little more than 90 degrees. Bicep swivel. Ball peg, once again, swivel up and down, everything for the hand, which is good. You got a waist swivel, so that's good. No ab crunch for him, but Van down all day, every day. Kick up to about right there, not the full 90. Kick back, that stuff gets in the way. You got, that's on a ball peg. You got a wiggle wag a little bit, but you got a swivel for the knee to make up for the thigh swivel. You got a nice knee bend, toe tilt up, not much down. You got a rocker and a swivel. So very nicely done. All right, let me, now you do have two more options for, you got his pile drivers and his drills. He gets drill bits and everything. So basically if you want to do the drills, you just unpeg the hand and just pop in the drill. You can use that. And once again, he does have his pile drivers. So what you do is you open these up right here like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of bend at there and then just tab that in there like that and then close it up. You may have to situate the hands a little better, but that will close up a little better. And then do the same thing right here and like that. And there, that closes up a little better. And you have his pile drivers. Now, only thing is, I wish he could look up, like, when you're doing, doing this and you try to situate him, I wish he could look up. That would have been pretty cool. The pile drivers do extend, so that's pretty cool. Very nice little feature and everything. So there you go. There are his tapes. All right, moving on to the main attraction. Here is Soundwave built together. I think it looks pretty good. I really like it. I love the yellow paint right here. I love the Decepticon symbol. Looks very good. You got the nice hip skirt, the skirts and everything. Moving on down. Got some nice little details like that little silver part right there. Looks very nice. They did some little things, that are really cool. Especially like on the back, you got the little up and down with that. Then you got the little roller That's pretty cool. On the back, got a little silver detail right there, which I really like that. So he does have his shoulder cannon, which is on a little armature right there. It can move up and down, swivel, all that stuff. So you do got a nice range and everything. You can take it off. It can go on either side. You got a hole over there. So that's very nice. All right, look at the head sculpt. So he does have electronics. So he does have the dead eyes. Kind of wish they just would have painted it, called it a day. But like I said, I'll show you that in a second. But very nice head sculpt as always. Look down quite a bit. Look up, not much. So you're gonna pop off the ball peg right there. Just beware of those. Everything is on ball pegs. Mainly everything is ball pegs, and stuff is gonna pop off because it is a model kit. Just pop it back in. You go swivel all the way, and you get a little additive as well. So that is very nice, but like that. All right, got the 80-point working shoulder pads right here. So what you do, you got a butterfly, a little back and forth action right there. Go all the way up like this. It's a little tight. Just be careful. Like I said, you don't want to, pull it out or anything like that, giggity. But you do got the full 90, right there, which is nice. Like I said, this does move a little bit on its own. You go all the way around. You do have a nice elbow bend, more than 90 degrees. That's nice. You do have a bicep swivel. That's nice. Now moving on to the hands, that's probably the only thing I don't like about this thing is the hands. The fingers are just too long. I mean, he could slap you into next week, man, with this pimp hand, keeping it strong. I kind of wish they would just give some extra hands, like, maybe a closed fist, open, fist where you can hold the weapon, maybe a pointing finger or something like that, and just pop it off the ball peg and switch them out. But they gave us this. But anyways, the thumb is on a ball peg. Just you can movement on the base. Each finger is on a ball peg by itself, and you got movement on the base and the knuckle, so you get 2 points of articulation. I just think they're too long. They look too lanky. So that's just me. If you like it, that's cool. You like it, you win. All right, you do have a waist swivel, which is cool. You do have an ab crunch. I kind of wish you could look up, so defeat the purpose of the ab crunch. Like I said, see, that stuff will stop popping off sometimes. But all you gotta do is just put it back on, hopefully. Let me try to see if I can put this back skirt on. This just slides on right there, pops it in. There you go. All right. So you can, let's move this up. You can move those, all the skirts move. Van Damme all day, every day. You do have, like I said, you can move this. Like I said, not all the way up. You may try, it may pop off. Just be aware of that. But you do have, you can go up, but you do have a drop down a little bit, so you can get more and everything. Like I said, the legs will tend to pop, come unattached. All you gotta do is just pop them back on, but you got that. And same thing for the back. Just move that back, and you can go back too. And that's pretty good. So you do have a little bit of a thigh swivel, but you do have a, no, you don't have a knee swivel, my bad. So you got a little bit of a thigh swivel. Love how the knee bends like that. And then this moves down with it, which is pretty cool. I like that. That is nice. So you get more than 90 degrees for the knee bend, which is good. All right. Moving on down to the feet. You got toe tilt up, down. The toe just moves by itself too as well, up and down. And you do have a little of a rocker. Stuff gets in the way a little bit. But it's not terrible. Like I said, you got the back right there. That's pretty good. So there you go. There is articulation for Soundwave. All right, so we're going to talk about the accessories. Like I said, he does have the shoulder cannon right there. You do have the his handgun and everything like that. Now, what you can do, you can take these off and you can plug them in right here, and you can kind of display them with these, kind of like the batteries in the G1 originally, which is a nice little throwback to that. But you just basically flip this out right here, and then you could tab this one in right here. And then you do the same thing with this one, and you just take this out, the little armature right here, and plug them in, and you can, store them like batteries, which is pretty cool. That's a nice little throw in right there. And with the gun, what you do is it extends like the G1 does, and you switch, flick that out right there, and that actually pushes out the barrel, and you extend that just like the G1, which is really cool. So you got a little slot, and you got a little tab in the hand, and you just trying to find the sweet spot like that, and then you wrap around these long ass fingers around there, and there you go. There is his weapon, which is pretty cool. Now with Laserbeak, like I said, you have options with this. Now see, you have these covers, okay? So you have ones that leave it open, and you have ones that don't. Like I said, this one I have open. This one I use the closed one. And you could use both of them. You can close them, or you can, like I said, I wish Rat Bat had an option where you could perch him up right here. But what you do is you just set it right there, and there you go. Laserbeak can sit there on his forearm, which is really cool. He does come with a tape of Laserbeak, and I do like this. You can hit that, it will open up a little bit. So open that up right there, and you can also have Laserbeak in there if you want to, and tab it in like that. It does a little rattle a little bit, but it's fine. But that's a pretty cool option. And last but not least, there's a couple, one more thing. You take this. This does have a magnet in there, and I think you have to have the Laserbeak out. Let me see if I can take this part. There we go. That's cool. His eyes do light up, but it doesn't show. Let me, I may have to turn my lights off, and let me turn these lights off, and so you can see the light up effect. It's supposed to be red, but it's white, really. So there's like a clear piece, and there's a red piece that goes over the eyes, and it's supposed to have been red, but it looks more white and everything. So, oh well. Anyways, like I said, I kind of wish they would just, I like the sound effects. That's pretty cool. But if they, didn't include that and just painted his eyes red, that would have been cool. But you do have the stand, which is very nice, and you could take this right here and put this right there and have that displayed, which is really cool. Now you can take Laserbeak and you can perch him up on this right here if you want to have him flying. Like I said, I wish the Ratbat would have had the option to. Then you take this off and you can put this in right here, and then you can open it up and put Soundwave in here, and you can have him standing on a stand. And there you go. That, I think, is everything that you can do with this Soundwave, which is really cool. Let me take that off and put Laserbeak up there. We'll bring in Ravage, Ratbat, Rumble right there, and right there. Like I said, you can kind of sit him. You may have to situate him, but I'm not going to try it right now. But you can sit him up on his shoulders. And there you go. There is Blokees Soundwave. Freaking awesome. All right, so I threw in MP44 Optimus Prime, so he is too small for Masterpiece. There he is next to Studio Series A6 Prime. He might, I don't know how tall he was. I think wouldn't he be shorter than Prime? So he is a little taller than Prime. I threw in Sideswipe as well. Threw in Magic Square and New Age Optimus Prime. And then I threw in Tits McGee Retgar. And there's some scale for you. And Crappy Gonus, Crappy Toilet Paper, AAA Battery, Carmex, Care Bears, Kicker and Squeaks. More scale. Well, hey there, everybody. If you made it this far, as always, I freaking appreciate that. All right, final thoughts on Blokees. This is the Action Edition Soundwave. I love it. I'm going to go get Optimus Prime and Megatron. So hopefully get that in pretty, sometime a couple weeks from now. But man, I freaking love it. I love me some Blokees. Like I've always say with them, really fun builds. If you have kids, nieces, nephews, your husband, wife, whoever, friends, you want to sit around and build these together. Now, like I said, this is going to take a little longer than the normal ones, but it's fun. I mean, it really is. It's easy to put together, easy to follow the instructions. I really like it. I love the G1 nods, with the batteries. You can put them on the back of him. That is awesome. Love that threw in the power drivers and these little screwdrivers or drills, drills for Rumble Frenzy. Like Ratbat. Only thing is, I wish he would have had an option with Laserbeak. It could have set on, Soundwave's arm as well. That would have been pretty cool. Only thing I don't like is the fingers. Like I said, they just look lanky. Like I said, he could slap you into next week with a pip slap, and it just they just look weird. I wish they would have gave him just like a closed fist or open hand one and maybe a pointing finger. That would have been pretty cool. They look too lanky to me. But overall, articulation's fun. Be wary. He's a model kit. He will come untabbed, with the legs and the shoulders and everything. They're a little tight, so you may pull them apart. Just put it back together. Mostly everything is mainly on ball pegs and everything. So that's really nice. I like Ravage. He is cool. Very nicely done with that. I like the little nod, you know, with the little tape for Laserbeak. You got a little Soundwave as well. I love the options with the Laserbeak you got with the feet. That's pretty cool. The stand I really like. You know, it's one of the better stands. I don't care much for stands, you know, but you know, unless it's like a jet or something like that. But that's a nice stand. I like it, and I like the Decepticon symbol is the magnet. Do I like the light up effect? It's fine. If they would have maybe, you know, took that off and maybe threw off maybe $5 or $10, be a little, you know, cheaper than that. He does, you know, have three phrases you could say, so that's pretty cool. But you know, I'm never going to really, you know, use that at all. But anyways, it's a cool effect. But I just, you know, if it wasn't there, I wouldn't miss it. So that's the point right there. But overall, really fun. Like I said, it's a great. I love some Blokees. Like I said, fun to build with the family and everything. So hope you like my review. Hit me up on likes, shares, spurs, and Care Bears. Hit that sub button for me if you don't mind. Hit me up some comments. Let me tell a review. Have you got the Soundwave? I've heard some good things about Prime and Megatron. Like I said, I'm going to try to get those. What do you think of those two? And yeah, follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. And go to Show Z. Hit Deluxe 32 at the top. That really helps out the channel. And I guess I'll see you in the next Transformer review. And as always, be good to yourself, man. Hell freaking Transformers and hell freaking Blokees, man. So much fun and so much. Like I said, I love the G1 nods and everything. That's really cool. So many options, and that's fun, man. It is really, really fun. Good night, folks.